Welcome to this edition of The Inside on Equinox Television. I am Badley Jonathan. In this edition of the program, we will talk about the rising cry of the people of the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. The situation in those parts of the country has continued deepening for close to 3 years today, and the people are lamenting over the devastating and deadly consequences of the ongoing socio-political and security crisis hitting those parts of the country. Destruction of properties continues, killing, abduction, and of course arrest of persons continue in those parts of the country, and of course lockdown continue to be respected. Inhabitants of those parts of the country are lamenting over the devastating situation and are calling on authorities that be, and of course all those involved in the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country to find solutions to that problem. And of course we'll be talking also about some controversial issues concerning one of the outstanding opposition political parties in the Republic of Cameroon, the Cameroon People's Party, the CPP. Meet our guest in some few seconds. Our guest in this edition of the program is a founding father of the Cameroon People's Party, the CPP, a visiting lecturer at Cornerstone University and Seminary, Owerri, Nigeria, head of Department of Peace Studies and Comparative Religions in that university. He is a priest and convention clerk of the Methodist Church of Cameroon. Reverend Professor TITA Samuel Fong, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Babila, and thank you for bringing me into your studio for the first time.
All right,
I'm so pleased.
You were appointed by Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration at Tanganji Paul on July 17, 2018, President of the Cameroon People's Party, while there was another leader at the helm of that party, Edith Kabangwala. What triggered that appointment?
I was never appointed. The fact stands that I was recognized.
The Minister of Territorial Administration issued a release in which he appointed you President.
That's correct. That's correct. The release was because he recognized that I was actually the national chairman and the founder of the party. Whereas some people who were struggling like Kawala were, or I should say were, because she was later on dismissed from the party. That's in May 2018. She was dismissed from the party because of some abnormalities. She was not trying to be respectful. So she did not want to give...
Who dismissed her from the party?
The party.
Who dismissed her from the party?
The party. The party dismissed her.
But she's still the president up to today of that party. She's still
in February,
holding that position as president of that party.
Well, she is doing it wrongly. She is not wanting to understand things. And why is she doing it wrongly? Is because she felt that she was the owner of the party, and under no circumstances is she the owner of the party. What really happened is that we brought her in 2011. Look at the party that was formed in 1991. And some of the members are even dead. The founding members are dead. Then we brought her in because I, in person, was interested in gynecocracy. Gynecocracy, government of women, that is trying to encourage the Cameroon women to go into politics. So I felt that she was going to come in and encourage the women to follow her footsteps. But unfortunately, she came in with the spirit of SDF in her. They went into politics of insulting the head of state, insulting the institutions of the state. I mean, which was not what we were interested in.
The release of the Minister of Territorial Administration highlighted some internal conflicts within the party, a power tussle between some militants of the party.
No, it was just a matter of recognizing who is who in that party. And that's why I said I was recognized, I was never appointed.
Now, what is the legal backing of that recognition you're talking about?
I have the founding certificate with me. I have the minister's letter with me. So I don't know what we can have again.
Now, when the release of the Minister of Territorial Administration was released, indicating that you are now the new president.
No, not new.
You are now the president of
recognized
the
person
president
since
of the
1991.
CPP, Edith Kabanwala, who says she's still the president of the CPP till today, wrote an open letter to the minister condemning his actions as illegal with no legal backing.
No individual has a right to condemn an action like that except the courts. So if she felt that she had any axe to grind with the minister, I thought the right condemnation would have been in court, not what she has written, because what she has written to the minister was just it was to me a trash.
And she said that the minister's decision is null and void, of no effect.
Well, the territorial administration remains the playground as far as politics is concerned. And the minister is the referee. We are the players. So if he says it is null and void, then how can the referee, you are bringing me closer to some people who decided to pass their own verdict as far as elections were concerned, when the referee had not yet said a thing. How can you go to say what the referee says or is saying is null and void? How can you say that?
Now, is there any legal backing that justifies the decision of the minister to appoint a new leader at the helm of a political party?
I still want to say it was not an appointment. It was some recognition.
What do you mean by recognition? What's the difference between recognition and appointment?
Because they investigated the file of CPP and saw that there is no name there like Kawala to have claimed that position. That's why they handed my recognition back to me.
Is there any legal disposition? Because Edith Kabanwala indicated that the decision of the minister did not respect the internal rules of the CPP, neither the internal rules nor rules and regulations governing this country, legislations governing this country.
Beautiful enough, what you should understand, or what she should understand, is that in, I think, January 2018, she was called up when we wanted to restructure the party and to prepare for elections. And she refused to come. Now, as she refused to come for the meeting, right there, we took a decision that people were hiding in offices, claiming the name this and that. Since she was the chairperson, by our resolution, she was the chairperson of the National Council, not the national chairman of the party. She was the chairperson of the National Council, and as such, during our restructuring meeting, the National Council was dissolved, and we asked everybody to go into the field and work. Let us see how much you can work for the success of the party on the field. So instead of me seeing them as the national chairman who has, by our resolution, an extra vote in case of a tie, and I have veto powers, which means I had all the right to call for a restructuring meeting. I had all the right to propose that the restructuring meeting should look at the National Council and see whether it can be suspended. That's the right word I'm not using. It's suspended. And let people go into the field and work, because people were just using the National Council, like Kawala herself, and going about insulting the head of state, insulting institutions of the nation. I mean, that did not please me.
as far as positions of leadership are concerned in the party? Are the presidents of the party appointed, recognized, or elected?
I have said I am the only person in the party accepted by the party. Resolutions that were drawn by Kawala were in Kawala's presence, and that I am the national chairman for life.
National chairman for life?
For life.
Is that what the rules and regulations of the party say?
It is in our resolution. And I have extra vote in case of a tie. Number two, I have veto powers, which if you delay a national council, like she willfully delayed the national council, and I saw it destroying the party, I called for a meeting. In the meeting, we dissolved the national council. It was suspended, rather. The national council was suspended. And as it was suspended, we asked her to come up. She didn't come up. And rather, she went writing letters here and there. And in May 2018, we had another meeting again of the restructuring meeting. We had a restructuring meeting. And she was dismissed.
Are leaders of the CPP
One thing,
elected, chosen, appointed, or recognized? Elected,
I must tell
chosen,
you,
recognized?
I did political sociology. I'm a sociologist. I did political sociology. And what you call democracy is in various contexts all over the world. The main pillars might be there, but it is in various contexts all over the world. The democracy in America might not be the one in Britain. The one in Britain might not be the one in France. The one in France might not be the one in Cameroon. The one in Cameroon might not be the one in Nigeria. So if we of the party see that the party is collapsing.
No, we are in Cameroon. Let's take it to the Cameroonian context.
If we that's why I'm coming to that. If we of the party, we realize that the party is collapsing, it is better you rescue the party at all cost.
At the expense of legislations, legal procedures,
no,
internal rules of the party.
No, make sure you make sure that if anybody looks at it has a challenge anyway, the person takes it to court. That's all.
Now, let's come back to the rules and regulations of the party. What is stated in the rules and regulations of the party? That the leaders of the party are elected, appointed, chosen.
Sure. By.
Elected, appointed, chosen, recognized. Which of them?
They are elected.
Yes, but you were not elected.
No, in 1991 I was elected. I was a founder, quite all right. But later on, my people sat down and I was elected.
And on what happened? That on the 17th of July, the minister had to come in to recognize you, as you said.
It's because Kawala still went around disturbing the smooth running of the party. And he is the referee. I still keep saying that the territorial administration is the playground.
Yes, but the president of the party, Edith Kabanwala, who claims the presidency of the party, says that the decision of the minister has no legal backing, does not respect internal rules of the party.
Well, then let her go to court and show us what she means by that. Because I know one thing very clear, very, very clear, that as at the time she was writing to the minister, she was already suspended.
Suspended or dismissed?
No, she was dismissed in May, but suspended in January. Suspended because the wing that she was running or handling as the chairperson, which is the National Council, was suspended. Therefore, she was asked to go into the field to choose a constituency and let us see how the constituency is growing CPP there, how CPP is getting matured there. That's what we wanted. Not to have CPP that is attacking President Paul Biya, attacking A, attacking B. That's not our concern. We want to see how much CPP is growing on the ground. And that's why we dissolved the National Council, because people were hiding in it and doing no work.
No, those who are on the other side equally indicate that you were dismissed from the party.
No.
What do you say about that?
The resolution says I am the chairperson, not chairperson because they can have that. I am the national chairman and the founder of the party for life. It is written there in our resolution.
The resolutions were signed by who? All the officials of the party, including Edith Kabanwala?
It was signed by the Secretary General and the national chairman. And Kabanwala just came in that time in 2011. We were drawing up our resolutions to admit more different people, new people. So she couldn't have signed.
Now, some critics think that...
But if she felt that she could have signed, she would have raised some dust. But it was signed by the Secretary General and the National Chairman.
Some critics think that you're conniving with the Yaoundé administration for one reason or the other.
I don't know what it means, but I do not connive. What I do is I first of all called her, I first of all called her for a meeting, because I realized that she was taking that type of LCF spirit. I'm sorry to call a particular party because it is from there that she came, and spending her time all behind the president, spending her time all behind the institutions of the state. But I felt that the institutions of the state remain. We can only come and build. That is, we allow it to evolve. The institutions say we allow it to evolve. Nobody will come and say, okay, I'm going to destroy this Equinox building today and bring it up. Jesus Christ said it, but finally he was saying something else. People never understood.
You say you're the president, you're the national chairman for life.
It is accepted.
What do you say about people who are condemning the fact that African presidents putting their hands on power for decades and not wanting to quit and so on?
Good. I have told people that when you want somebody to quit, the only way is take to the Constitution, take to the polls. You don't come and fight him. We have a right to change our resolutions in a moment.
Are you against or for long stay in power of African leaders?
It is better that a president stays there for as long as it just don't go there. Because I'm one man, I don't like...
But is that democratic?
Democracy doesn't mean that you pick a state and give to idiots to run it at the detriment of the state or detriment of the people. You must watch clearly. Okay, look at I personally, I described last election to be limping horses of 8 going behind a sound horse with sound legs. And I called any other horse that was behind it a limping horse. So it'll be unsound for me just to get up one day and feel that Professor TITA, because I think I've read some book, I can now come to take Babila's position here. It's not possible, Mr. Babila. It's not possible. Okay, like I've asked the question, can people tell us, politicians, what they have been able to do? Convince the world. Because where I have been out of Cameroon, you stand on the soapbox, and you deliver your speech. After that, you ask questions. You give room for question and answers. Then I ask you, how do you think you can do this? And what have you been able to do? What have you been able to do? You say, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this, I have done that. But if we jump out from nowhere and say, I want to be head of state, I wonder if that country is serious.
You're talking about what political leaders can show as proof of their work, proof of what they have been doing so
for the nation.
For the nation.
Good.
And since we've been hearing about the CPP until the Minister of Territorial Administration issued a release and said Professor TITA Samuel is now the chairman or the president of the CPP. We've heard very little about Professor Tita until now.
Great things are never done in a haste. And a great leader takes time to be great. And this way I became angry with Kawala that instead of her going on the ground, building CPP, on the ground, let's see what CPP is doing here and there. Let us see what CPP is doing there. You are busy insulting the head of state. Is that important? You are busy talking on stolen election. Is that important? I wanted to see you come in since you handed the party to encourage gynecocracy. Gynecocracy. I wanted to see how much you have been able to convince the Cameroon woman. And convincing the Cameroon woman, you are showing what you are able to do. Your structures. If you've been able to give some scholarship this way, you've been able to run this, you've been able to run that, you've been able to dig some roads, you've been able to build some bridges. Yes, we now start saying, if this party has worked like this, can't we send it to the presidency to rule?
Now, as a founding father of the CPP, a party that has been existing for decades today, and since your recognition, I use the term that you used, recognition by the Minister of Territorial Administration as the president of the CPP, what has Professor Tita done with regards to the issues in the country?
I would have done a lot, but Cameroon politics started in a form surrounded by greed, and the people who were suffering from greed were interested in anarchy. Why were they interested in anarchy? Is to meet up with the sudden things that they wanted. And that's why we have, since 1990, this country has had no way given to builders. It has, but people who are struggling to see that this country moves into terrorism, and it has finally moved into terrorism. So I don't blame anybody now, because it started since 1990. Terrorism program started since 1990. And if you want me again to say more, I would say it started since 1983 or so with Dinka of Ambazonia. The name Ambazonia did not just come up yesterday. No, it has been in a file hanging, resting somewhere, a file of some greedy people. All right. So if they gave room for us to be steady and do things, what is bad in standing up to say, look, I have been able to do this, I have been able to do this, vote for me. But now, can anybody proudly go and take over the seats, proudly, from Paul Biya? They can grumble and stay.
You don't want to take over that seat?
I've told you one thing, that we have not prepared yet, because multipartyism came into Cameroon out of greed. People did not even know what multipartyism was. People just dreamed that one day, oh, we can form a political party. And they did. And it became rubbish. But where we will come back to settle, and I can train some people as I want to train them. I would have had Kawala as one of my students. But it seems she went ahead and then became so proud, so big.
Do you have presidential ambitions?
I do have. Because if I don't have it now, I may reincarnate. So I do have. But I will not want to have an ambition which is not to build a nation. An ambition which is going to set the country at war. Because look at what is happening now. It started since 1990s. Because some people are saying that, oh, the Bamenda case or the Southwest case or Northwest case, I say, what's strange there? What is strange today that was not there before? It's because people went into a thing without knowing precisely what they are going there for. I did not say Kawala should be a presidential candidate. Yes, I surrendered it to her to encourage gynecocracy. But I didn't say she should become a presidential candidate to immediately become a leader. But she should try her hands at the game. Try your hands at the game. And when you try your hands at the game, you keep mastering where you should go left, where you should go right. Maybe to bring in more women and more men and work for them, show them how to build a nation, let the nation be constructed.
Your recognition by the Minister of Territorial Administration in his press release as president of the CPP, and from the statements you have been making this far, notably criticizing those who are criticizing the head of state, those who are criticizing the present regime, give room to allegations like Reverend Professor TITA Samuel Fong is eyeing some kind of ministerial positions, some personal gains from the Yaoundé administration. What will you say about that?
One thing is very clear. Nobody can proudly say he will be a minister. But somebody can proudly say he will go into the system, or he wants to go into the system. In order to learn.
Do you want to go into the system?
In order to learn. So, coming back to the question of a ministerial appointment, somebody can be a minister delegate in order to learn. So if I am moving ahead, I want to get where I can learn more of what to do with my country before I go into my grave.
You want to join the BIA government?
There's no government that it bears on, because we all understand, following what an American president said, after every election we are one till the next election. So Cameroonians are all one under the present regime.
You want to be part of that regime?
We are all part of it, not that I. We are all. Because after every election we are one till next elections. So there's no other way out.
If you were called today and asked to handle a ministerial position or government position, anyone, what will be your response?
I will still say, Mr. Head of State, allow me go where I can be groomed to serve the nation. Take me where I can be groomed. Don't quickly call me up like Idi Amin. Say, oh look, you are going to be the director of central bank, eh? That's a small boy who does not know what banking means. And when the boy said, no, if you do this, he said, okay, go and crucify him. No.
We'll get to talk more about your stance concerning national issues. You already started talking about the issues in the Northwest, Southwest, and other issues affecting national life. And that will be after the press review. The Post reports a burning spree in Kumbo in the northwest region of Cameroon. The Guardian Post highlights fears of a higher death toll as attacks on hospitals multiply in the Anglophone regions hit by an armed conflict. In an exclusive interview granted to The Voice, the Bishop of Kumbo, George Nko, laments over the situation and the invasion of the Shishonhat Hospital by rampaging soldiers. The Sun reports the liberation of over 200 students from what it qualifies as amber captivity. In the same paper, Territorial Administration Minister Atanganji Paul says the protection of persons and properties is an absolute priority, and the Guardian Post reports Minister Tanganji Paul boast Ambazonian fighters will be crushed like maquisards. Meantime, as reported by The Horizon, Disarmament Commission President has said 12 of the Ambazonian fighters have surrendered to the commission. In another news article, The Horizon reports that the first Vice President of the Social Democratic Front, O.C. Joshua, has reignited the Anglophone problem controversy. In the post-weekender, former Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic of Cameroon, Titus Ezwa, writes to President Paul Biya, urging him to address the nation on the Anglophone crisis. As reported by the Guardian Post, French President Emmanuel Macron mounts pressure on President Biya over the Anglophone crisis and the detention of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement National President, Professor Maurice Kamto. Concerning the hearing of the case pitting Siseko Ayok Tabe and other Anglophone leaders and the state of Cameroon, the Guardian Post says it was dominated by heated debates over the nationality of the detainees. Defense lawyers walked out of the courtroom as judges ruled the accused must be tried as Cameroonians, though the lawyers presented proofs that they were refugees. In another issue of the paper, the United Nations reveals that it needs 172 billion francs CFA for humanitarian aid in Cameroon. In the quest for solution, the Star announces a conference in the United States of America. The Median reports question marks hanging on the respect and prestige of Cameroon's magistracy over the arrest and detention of Professor Maurice Kamto. And Eden says the Kondengi prison is hosting 3 governments headed by Professor Maurice Kamto, Siseko Ayok Tabe, and former Prime Minister Inoni Ephraim. The situation has continued deepening in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Reverend Professor TITA Samuel Fon, what's your take on the ongoing situation?
What is deepening there?
The situation has been growing from worse.
What is going worse?
From since it switched from a peaceful protest by lawyers and teachers to an armed conflict that we're experiencing today, with
the
people
lawyers
being killed, properties destroyed, institutions burned down. The last was the district hospital in Kumba that was set ablaze.
The lawyers, even they call them themselves intelligent people, most intelligent people, but they allow themselves to be used by some fellows who were hiding somewhere with very vicious motives. The teachers...
Who are those people who were hiding somewhere with vicious...
I am coming to that. The teachers equally looking at them to be intelligent people, but they were stupidly used by some people with hidden motives or objectives. And if you want to ask me, who are those people? I want to tell you that this nation of ours started having its problem of secession since the 90s, when we attended all Anglophone meeting. Even some of the parties that came up then were formed in the interests of the Anglophones. But along the line, they still could not go ahead with the mission that was given to them. All right, what is happening today is that we are leaving the demons to go scot-free. We are leaving the demons to go scot-free. And we go feeling that our children should be happy. So as the children are not happy, they say, okay, let the worst come. Let the worst happen. We are saying they want to bring them out of the bushes, yes. But the children are angry that let the worst happen because the people who send them into the bushes are feeling fine.
And the question is, who are the people and what are the vicious motives? Because when we listen to a recent statement of the president of the National Commission on Human Rights and Freedoms, he was worried over the fact that crimes committed, destructions of properties, institutions burnt down, villages burnt down, schools destroyed and so on, persons killed, but it's difficult to identify and say this is the guy who committed this crime.
Mr. Babila.
So who are those people you're talking about?
Mr. Babila, permit me ask you one thing, or reveal one fact here. I don't know what your age was in the early 90s, 2000. What is happening today that is strange from what happened in 1999 to 2000? So if the situation is advancing, you've set fire, and then it is picking up, and picking up better, you feel that you should be exonerated? I don't think so.
Who set the fire?
I think sometimes when we talk, we don't go calling names, but I ask you that go into, all right, see, there was Cameroon Anglophone movement, CAM. There was All Anglophone movement. No, yes, AAC, All Anglophone Council. And all these things were changed behind a particular political party. So, pushing me to the wall to go talking, I don't like to call names, but we should know that. We should know that what really happened in the 1990s, 2000 and 2004, even now that I'm talking, 2011, my car in Bamenda went to the garage when Frundi was coming back from Yaoundé. I never knew what was happening. But as I came out from my office with my car, trying to go to the house, I just saw people on me. Boom, 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 boom. And they destroyed my car. It is in the garage up to today. So, when people say some things are happening, what is happening?
Anyway, we'll leave that one, calling names.
What I mean is that what is happening that had not happened?
Okay, I should indicate that you're a living Bible, I want to put it that way, a living dictionary of the history of Cameroon. You witness most of those things happening. And today, when you look at what is happening in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, when you look at the state of affairs in those parts of the country today, what do you think about the situation?
I am so sad about it. I'm very, very sad about the situation. But what gives me a little bit of comfort is that when you plant, you harvest just what you have planted. I may say that some people say, oh, go and crucify him. They're free. But when you plant, you harvest what you have planted. Because I want to categorically say, what is happening now was being planted gradually in the 90s and the 2000s. But at certain points too, I have blamed the government for taking things lightly. But what do? Because the government, when you blame the government, what do you expect them to do?
Taking things lightly, in what sense?
See, when people go planting wrong seeds in your garden, uproot them. So, but if you go to uproot them, they may bring you forward for the Hague and human rights abuse. But I'm telling you that they said human rights abuse to the third world, a developing world, let me not call it third world any longer, creates more problems because we don't even know what the rights are. Yes, a few persons will sit down and say human rights abuse, human rights abuse. Come to the person concerned, come to you and I and ask them, do you know what your rights are? Whether they even know. Because if you know what your rights are, there are certain things you will not also do. You were not in Bamenda where people's houses in the 90s were being burnt. People's gari in the market rice destroyed. People's vehicles were being destroyed. Then,
and today we have the same thing repeating itself.
So a man like me, what do I see strange there? It is only strange now in the sense that the people who have been deceived to go into the bushes need their pay because they were expecting some pay. Like certain parties in the 90s gave impression that if they win, they will bring back all the retired workers. And some of us doubted how you can go into a country and see people all of the time and say, come back and walk. How do you place them? All right. See, they told them how they are going to send away certain policemen, certain soldiers of that's deceit of the present regime and recruit new ones. How are you going to do that? And the people, since they were so stupid, they bought the idea richly and felt that it was good for them to go ahead. I know my daughter, my own daughter, that is, I want to be an African, my sister's child, was already, when you see she moves in a particular dress of a political party, she gives the hand like that because she was seeing herself going to be recruited as a police. So I wonder whether we really know what we're saying. But to be candid, Mr. Babila, I must tell you nothing but the truth, that there is nothing I'm seeing now that is different from what I saw in the past. There was a time in the past in Bamenda on going to bed, I said, Lord, if you see me coming tomorrow, receive my soul. Then, is it different from today?
Some observers have suggested that to solve this problem, we need to go down to the roots, and they think that the authorities of this country are trying to solve the problem from the leaves, and so they need to go down to the roots. But the roots have to be identified. So where is the root cause that should be addressed for this problem to be solved?
I keep asking the question. To solve a problem, you need to identify the problem. To find those that you need to sit and discuss with, you need to identify them. Many people have said, dialogue, like this. I say yes. I went to the Gambia with the present Prime Minister. I went to Senegal over this Southern Cameroon matter with the present Prime Minister, right? And they said the only thing is to look at it as an internal matter, go back to your country and dialogue. But the people, people who were with us, they came back and said, no, we want secession. We want secession. Now, like during the AAC one in Boya, they wrote to the head of state that if this does not happen before this date, zero option. And in the meeting, some of us asked, what do you mean by zero option? I'm talking to the world, right?
You're talking about the Anglophone General Conference?
Yes, AAC.
But the Cardinal and the others...
No.
The monitor of the PCC, they indicated that what we requested for preconditions that could create an enabling environment, a favorable environment.
Sir,
not necessarily like injunctions that if this does not happen.
Sir, I was talking about AAC in 2004. If my brain is still working well.
All right, not the recent one that has been postponed.
AAC Boya.
All right.
Nothing has been postponed because all these people, if they were not there as the people who are today, their predecessors were there, right? Their predecessors were there. And my question is, what is coming today in the AGC that is different from AAC? Okay, if the AAC is still coming up, AGC rather, is coming up with the idea that they want federalism.
They want to meet and discuss the various ideas, the various opinions, the ideologies and so on, to take it now to the general meeting.
You are meeting on what topic? The topic that is hidden behind is federation. It's hidden.
They have never talked about any option.
But it is hanging somewhere. And the head of state says there should be no federation, there should be decentralization.
We will take Professor TITA Samuel Fong's own way out of the crisis, your own way out of the crisis. In some few seconds, we're going to take interviews of the week right now.
We are women of the Northwest and Southwest regions. We are members of Stand Up for Cameroon and victims of the problems in the Northwest and Southwest. My name is Kwa Elizabeth.
My name is Carmel Amin. Our families are in the bushes. We are learning what we had never heard of before. We are the refugees and IDPs. We dance to the drumbeat of gunshots. We, as women, have learned to bury the dead. Our markets and our farms are empty. Feeding our children is a daily challenge. Our children have forgotten what a classroom looks like for more than 2 years.
Are you blind to our pain and sufferings? Are we from the Northwest and Southwest really your brothers and sisters? We are tired of burying our children in mass graves. Tired of hiding in houses and bushes for most of us. Tired of violence in the morning, violence in the afternoon, violence at night. Yesterday was burning villages in Kwakwa, Nake, Bole, now hospitals in Kumba. We are tired. We have come here today to ask you to join us to put an end to this violence. We have come here today to ask you to come and stand beside us. Raise your voice with us. Shout with us. Act with us. Stand and act until we put an end to the killing and dying. Stand up and act until we put an end to the violence. Stand up and act until the army and the armed groups have put down their guns.
Unknown gunmen took me at gunpoint. I was on a bike heading to town around Foncha Street. The only thing they said is that I advocate for school resumption, and which they've said no to that.
Enough is enough. We need school. No school, no future.
Journalists, doctors, hospitals, students, schools should not be attacked. Irrespective of whatever problem we may have, we will have solutions, but the years that will be lost, the lives that will be taken care of in due course at the hospitals, journalists must report. In that case, let journalists, media houses, let doctors, hospitals, let schools and pupils and students be left out.
Like the father of the division, I am once more aware that I am not alone to fight against those boys who are disturbing peace in this division. The forces of law and order, you know they cannot succeed without your own support.
The government of Cameroon has failed, and if we don't go into a dialogue, they will fail and even fail the citizens. Because if you find a government where appointed ministers, about 50 of them are in prison, you find a government that starts a stadium on the day they are coming for football, you find a government that declares war on its own citizens. We have all gone into bushes, and we believe that if the government can help us, the dialogue table is ready. Seseko Ayoko and then Paul Biya are all here. So these two people can dialogue and talk to the armed groups and the armed force to drop their guns, and we go on a peace table.
The debt is giving us cough in this market. Even for the food that we are selling, it's also bad, because as we are selling here, the debt is unhygienic.
The hierarchy of the military of the Northwest region has deemed it necessary to carry out this humanitarian act, because with the prevailing situation, and the population cannot carry on the activities freely. We are not here to replace Isaka. With the prevailing situation, we cannot allow the population to be suffering. That is why we want to remove all these garbages. Meanwhile, Isaka maybe will carry on the activities.
The lack of equipment, the lack of personnel in our laboratories, the lack of means, the lack of fundings the lack of well-equipped labs, the lack of motivated people. I think this is really a problem which really encompasses many bodies of personnel in our country. We did ask ourselves, if in front of emerging diseases or emerging diseases, is the country ready to make sure that we have the means to protect our population? In this period of hard times, everything is possible. So we should be ready as experts to bring to those who govern us the means and our skills to improve the health of our people.
Responsible laboratory practices, including protection, control, accountability for valuable biological materials, will help prevent their unauthorized access, loss, theft, misuse, diversion, or intentional release. The continuing appearance of some highly virulent emerging and re-emerging infectious agents highlights the need for coordinated preparedness in support of global public health.
It's a matter of necessity because we have to put private institute of higher learning in a legal frame to be in position to control, to be sure that the quality, insurance quality is observed, is applied, because it's very important for, people we will launch in the market to work for the development of our country. So higher education is obliged to help them, to follow them in such a way that in the next future they have to be at the position to train and to deliver degrees, diplomas at the same consideration like state universities.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Some have suggested ceasefire, demilitarization of the northwest and the southwest regions of the country, general amnesty for all those who have been arrested and detained in connection to the crisis, dialogue, inclusive dialogue, as some have put it, and so on, to solve this crisis. But until now, all these suggestions are still hanging in the air, so to speak. Where is your own way out of this crisis?
All those suggestions are, I must repeat it, say it with some emphasis. To me, I should say a farce. I don't know what I'm right there. They're just a farce.
How?
In the sense that the people you are talking about, that they should lay down arms, are terrorists. You don't know them. But they know you. Some can even be your children. Some can be your brothers. You don't know them, but they know you. So how do you go and tell them to lay down their arms? Who, first of all, gives them the arms? The arms are from where? Have you told the person supplying the arms to stop supplying? I think not yet. They said they should lay down arms. Have you told the people supplying the arms that please stop supplying? Then tell your children to lay down arms? All right.
Another question is, how are the arms entering the country?
That's the point.
The control at the borders and so on. How are they?
No, I told you that. I read in peace studies, I read a lot on terrorism. Anything to a terrorist is a weapon. And I must be very, very sincere here to tell you that this matter is not yet militarized, where the conventional weapons will be exposed to be used. I think you are getting me there.
But there are ongoing battles going on, gun battles going on every now
Yes,
and then.
anything can be called a gun, but I'm saying that conventional weapons are not yet being exposed or used. All right, the fellows concerned too, the terrorists are not yet using conventional weapons. They don't even have them.
And the military, they're using conventional weapons?
The military? Can you say, repeat what you said?
The military.
No, they're not yet on conventional. What I mean by conventional is dangerous things that can blow down this building.
Missiles?
Missiles. Huh? If they send them out on small to shoot lions, or not lions, monkeys in the bush, they are not yet conventional. They are not seen as conventional weapons. But when they are missiles, where you and I here, you see them fly, and they've designed where he has to land, and he does his job, that's a different thing. So what I am now categorically saying is that it is still a matter of trying to quail down terrorism. It's not yet a matter that concerns armies here and armies there. Because when it shall concern armies here and armies there, that's why I keep saying, in most of my write-ups, I keep saying we should pray against a civil war. And I have been in some countries where we saw it, and it was dangerous. It started with little weapons and got to a place, a position that they said military take over. Then the missiles went ahead. But now, say there are little terrorists in the bush, if they say the missiles should go ahead, now they'll go and shoot who?
No.
They will target the missiles where?
The government has been undertaking some actions, and you're asking a question there that is directly linked to the head of state's decision to use military force on the ground. Remember, he said, come out of the bushes, calling on the terrorists. If you don't do so, we're going to order the military to neutralize you.
Good.
Is that the right way to go about it?
Yeah, but the time has not come. It is just like now. It's just like your child does not want you to sleep, and you tell the child sleep, or I will cause you to cry more and sleep. Then I can also sleep. I don't know what I'm saying there.
By doing that, are you going to help the child to stop or to cry more?
No. It is possible that you pinch the child and the child will cry more and then stop crying. Then you too can sleep.
Okay, so what should be done at this particular juncture of the situation? What should be done now? By who?
Look to me, the brothers in the diaspora should be patriotic, have love for their country. I am one man, I hate fragmentation. So when I turn and see that we have Africa fragmented in very small things called countries, and we want to fragment more. I remember one day I told Chivayamba, do you know him? I told Chivayamba that, Chivayamba, when we shall have the Southern Cameroon nation, thereafter we will have the Yemenjok nation. I told him when discussing. He said, that's the only thing I fear you people. Since you want a Southern Cameroon nation with headquarters in Boya, very soon we'll need a nation that will make up only the Manfe people with the headquarters in the Yemenjok. But I think we should stay as a nation and build as a nation, grow as a nation.
You're a politician, and other politicians like you, Professor Maurice Kamto, Christian Penda Ikoka, Professor, we have people like Celestine Jamin and others, as well as Professor Alain Foguet, and some militants of the Sierra political party are in jail today or in detention. They were arrested after a protest move, some during a protest move on the 26th of January. What do you have to say about this? What is happening to politicians in the country today who have been arrested and detained?
I am one of those politicians that will always tell people every match has its rules. And before you go in to compete, you accept the rules of that match. So, if after the match, the referee says the victory is that way, we are just bound to accept, or you protest following the legal backing or the legal setup.
The legal framework.
In the legal framework, that's what I was looking for. Within the legal framework. Not that you come up and just can say anything as if you left a palm tree house.
But the protest move on the 26th of January.
I am still talking about the declaration.
Enshrining the Constitution.
I'm still talking about the declaration that he made. Then the protest. You know that every protest, no matter how democratic you want your country to be, the law as at that time said, these are the requirements. Why don't you go for it?
The requirements?
Let's say you want to take
declaration, not authorization anyway. Declaration, that's what the law says. And so they claim to have declared their protest move.
Yeah, but
the law requires.
But the law says it must be granted.
The law simply says that if you declare your protest move, you just have to declare anyway, whether there is a response or not. You just have to declare, I'm going to organize a protest move on this day, at this place,
I beg to disagree there.
Purpose, and so on.
I beg to disagree there, because most meetings that we have held, we come out and read the letter permitting us to hold that meeting. You read it there. So that anybody coming to disturb you, it's a public document. You say, see, I am authorized to hold this meeting. Not just a simple declaration. I am authorized. It's just like you can just jump up and say, Mr. Minister, I want to do this, or Mr. Dio, I want to do this. No, I think you better wait. Exercise some patience and let the right thing be done in the interest of the people that you want to rule.
Now, some have gone ahead to call for their liberation, that they were arrested and detained illegally. Are you also calling for their release?
I have no powers to ask for somebody to be released. The law is there. The law is blind. It moves like that. And when it gets hold of you, it gets hold of you. And it is just the very law, again, in the law court that releases you. Nobody can come and say, oh, let him go. It's the very law in the law court.
Justice should take its course.
Take its course. Just let justice take its course.
All right. Reverend Professor TITA Samuel Fon, founding father of the CPP, visiting lecturer at Cornerstone University and Seminary, Owerri, Nigeria, head of the Department of Peace Studies and Comparative Religions, and of course priest and convention clerk at the Methodist Church of Cameroon. Thanks for coming.
May God be with us. And
thanks.
I pray you invite me another time.
All right. We will always come to you whenever we need you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for this edition of the program.
Thank you very much.